This is the Corsair Quick Brace, and it is a very unique designed gun stock that I wanted to talk about and review. And I did receive this product for free. The gun stock itself is around, I think, $50. No, $60. And you also have different colors you can pick. You can pick from white, green, and black. But there is a unique feature to this gun stock, and that is the quick brace that you actually have while holding another controller, for example, to hold for steady aiming, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to review this fully and give it a 3 out of 5, and I'm going to go into detail on why that is. First of all, let's talk about the positives. It is lightweight. They say that the weight of it is about 350 grams worth of the weight on average, and it is around that weight. When I went to go and scale it on my scaler, it actually was around 340 or 350 on my gun brace. I don't know if they lost a little bit of materials here and there, but I do know that it is still pretty lightweight, really nice. Other things to note, all the material that you see right here, the white parts, are 3D printed. So it's molded around the Quest 3 or 3S controllers. And that's a good thing because it kind of makes things a lot easier to make more products if you have a mold already ready to go and just you want to make something new, boom, you got a new controller holder and all that jazz. But there's some other things too. Obviously, carbon fiber tubing makes it really resilient, so you don't break it pretty easily if you accidentally drop it on the floor, or maybe you get angry and you throw it, which by the way you shouldn't do. It's actually pretty cool. But let's talk about the downsides of this gun stock. First of all, because of the 3D printed mold, if I can show you here, there is a little bit, oh, it's there, you see that? There's a little bit of fur or like residue from the 3D prints, so it does feel a little unprofessional to have this stuff kind of, let's say, it's kind of hard to really justify the 3D prints to feel like this texture. I feel like if they could just sand down some of the 3D printed parts with like sandpaper, or like have like a sandpaper machine, I forgot what they're called, and just sand it down entirely, this entire product would feel a lot more professional. If I can show you, there's a little piece, it's kind of hard to see, but if I show a shadow here, you see that white line on the thing? Yeah, that's part of the 3D print. And I just wish that they just sanded it down. Just sand it down a little bit, just a little bit. Nothing too much. And honestly, it's not bad. Other things to note as well, this gun stock can be a little iffy and a little bit slippery, and I don't like that. They only have given me 3 pieces of metal twist-ons for the 3D printed mold to actually be twisted on by hand. And even then, it still feels a little bit awkward. Like I'm barely even like touching the controller, like you see right here, and it's just moving. So when I'm doing like a quick brace and going in, it's still going to be moving like a little bit left and right, and it doesn't feel good because when you accidentally like shift something this way and then now you have to like adjust your controller while you have the headset on, it can be a little bit of a hassle. But the good news is that all of it is just based on one controller. The other controller is going to be up on the front here while you have it braced. But even then, as you can tell, like see, like I'm barely moving this and I'm trying to hold it, like this. To be honest with you, it's not a good thing that it's moving because gun stocks are meant to be stable like an actual gun. You have the pistol grip on like an AK, and then you have the foregrip that you hold up on the front. And obviously, they're trying to replicate that by making this kind of like the brace, which isn't a bad deal. But my issue is just how loose it is, how all of this is just super loose, and I don't like it. So, to be honest with you, if I was to adjust anything or if I was to add anything on top of this, I would add in like rubber insoles or like thin rubber pieces that you can put on yourself into these little like slots right here so that it wouldn't move, because rubber is really good for disrupting and adding in more friction, which makes it harder to move stuff. If they did that, this would probably be a better gun stock than it is now. But let's also talk about the price point. $60 for this. It's kind of iffy for me. I understand, companies got to make their bank, got to make their money, but $60 for this doesn't feel all too well. I think the price point would make sense considering that, there's some new, tariffs and stuff like that are happening, politic talk, whatever. It is affecting products as well as how carbon fiber tubing and stuff like that, like materials in general, are way more expensive. So I understand the price point of where it's at and trying to get these products into there. But I feel like if I was to do this, I would just go to a 3D print shop or like a place that does 3D prints and just make my own, and then just go about my day for like paying $15 to $20 to make the prints happen. So to be honest with you, I don't think it's worth the $60. I think it's worth $40 if anything, because it doesn't feel polished enough for it to be $60, and there are some things that need to be adjusted for it to be worth that price point. But anyways, thank you Business Company VR for allowing me to give a review on this gun stock. I usually am straightforward and honest with the way that I try to give feedback and criticism, and I think this product is not bad. It's not bad. The price point is a little iffy for me, and there's some things that need to be adjusted. Obviously, the rubber insoles to add on to some of these parts, and then just smoothing out these 3D parts to make them feel a little bit more polished, I think would make this product a little bit more worth that price point you're selling it at. But that's it for me, everyone. I thought I'd just make a quick video on this, you know, just a little review. This is for Business Company VR. I promised them a video, and this is the video I make. And I want to let you know that it is not bad at all. I personally enjoy using this gun stock. And I'm probably going to be using it a little bit whenever I am live streaming. So if you want to see me use the gun stock to test it out a little bit more, I have tested out with it before, but if you want to see it for yourself, yeah, you can watch my streams every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. So that's it for me, everyone. Deuces. Take care, y'all.